How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the woman who decided to climb the Statue of Liberty on Independence Day to protest ICE and also to protest child separation at the border, to protest in favor of families being together, all of this, that, and the third. Now, this was a coordinated protest with a group called Rise and Resist, and we'll talk about them a little bit later. But she did not actually climb the statue. She got on top of the base and parked herself right up under the heel of the foot of the woman on the statue. It was a big problem because she was up there for like 3 or 4 hours. They had to evacuate the base, I suppose. The police had to go up there, risk their lives to bring her down. Before we get into all of that, before we get into her background, who she is, before we get into Rise and Resist, the group, before we get into my personal opinion about it, before we get into all that, you got to see this clip. In the clip, you'll see the police officers on top of the base, right where she is, trying to get her down. You hear a little bit of commentary, and you'll see her on the actual statue for yourself. After we get done with that, we'll come back and discuss all the aforementioned things. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Now this Fox News alert, and during the time that Margaret Corbin report was running, well, police nabbed their suspect. This is a woman who we believe is protesting immigration and customs enforcement. We don't absolutely know that for a fact, but it was earlier today that a banner protesting ICE, in fact it said Abolish ICE, was unfurled on the base of the Statue of Liberty shortly after this woman climbed from the base up onto the statue itself. You see her there just underneath the statue's raised right heel. New York City police have been negotiating with her for quite some time, trying to get her to voluntarily come down. She did apparently not want to do so, and so they moved in with their ropes. They are in the process of arresting her now. This is a live look at what's going on. We don't know who she is. We don't know exactly what her cause might be. The statue is not a solid piece of anything, I might mention. That's a fairly thin copper skin that's oxidized to that green color, and it certainly could be damaged by this kind of behavior. That's why police are trying to be ginger here, but also why it is a very big affront to go climbing onto the Statue of Liberty.
Okay, so you're able to see that. You see what's going on. Now, the elephant in the room here is, yes, there was a black woman, a 44-year-old from the Congo originally. She lives in New York. She's been here for quite a while. She has a little bit of a past in New York, not anything too major. She had some type of lawsuit with the local government of the place she was working because of some kind of racial discrimination. I'm not sure what happened with that, if it was resolved by being tossed out, a settlement, or what. In 2011, she posted like 60 flyers from her personal training business on poles in Manhattan, which you can't do. She got like $4,500 in fines in the mail. That made the news. But beyond that, nothing really major up until now, where she has climbed the base, at least. And by the way, climbing the base, pretty pathetic. I mean, if you're going to climb the statue, climb the statue. Don't give me this 2 out of 10 effort. Make it to at least the torch and do some kind of acrobatic thing once you get up there. You know, put a parachute on your back, do a little bit of skydiving, give me a show. But I digress. At the end of the day, she did what she did. Now, this kind of reminds me of Bree Newsom, another black woman climbing. This was, I don't know, maybe about a few years ago. I'm not really sure how long ago this was. But she climbed a flagpole in South Carolina or somewhere to remove the Confederate flag. Remember that whole thing? You know, flags are racist. Flags are going to come out and attack you. Nothing changed as a result of that, of course. No kind of real policy was implemented. Nothing to impact the people in a positive way. Nothing. She got a few minutes of fame and then it was over. And I think the same thing is going to be the case here. Now, what's interesting about this is the group that she is a part of, or at least she purports herself to be a part of. Like I said in the beginning, this was a coordinated thing. They had like 40 people there to do this protest on Independence Day at the Statue of Liberty. because some people erroneously think that the poem on there by Emma Lazarus represents the United States immigration policy. It does not. The poem didn't get put there until like 20 years later, after the statue was there, maybe even more than that, maybe about 40 years later, after the woman had died. And the reason why it was put there is because the poem was entered into a fundraising contest to build the base. The French gave us a statue, they didn't give us the base. So we had to build it, and it was necessary to raise money to do it. So that's what that was. It was part of a fundraising effort. It is not the U.S.'s official policy. Give us your hungry, your weak, your poor. That is nothing more than a poem, and that's it. But I digress. They were there to protest family separation. In a press release, which we'll get to in a moment, they said that they used a human banner. I'm not really sure what that means. I mean, what is that like? What is a human banner? Somebody with a t-shirt on? Where are they supposed to be? On top of the statue, at the base of the statue, like on the ground? What's going on? I don't know. They also had hung banners, I suppose, on the base to represent their cause. Now, let's get to the press release they put out, because they did put out a press release after the whole kerfuffle surrounding the woman. And by the name, her name is Patrice Okoumou. So the whole thing surrounding her happened, and it made, I guess, their whole situation blow up. This is a federal crime, although unfortunately it'll be misdemeanors. But I think when Rise and Resist heard that it was federal, they tried to just do something to prevent everybody from getting in trouble with the feds. Let's read the first two paragraphs of the press release. And you see it on the screen. It says, Rise and Resist, statement on the July 4th Liberty Island protests. In solidarity with Saturday's nationwide end family separation protests, on July 4th, Rise and Resist planned and executed a nonviolent banner drop and human banner action at the Statue of Liberty. Our message was that ICE must be abolished, families must be reunited now, deportations must be halted, and the policy of detention as deterrent must end. The person who climbed the Statue of Liberty was one of 40 participants in our planned banner action. And I gotta zoom in right here for effect. But her decision to climb the statue was made independently of the group, without consulting any other member of the group. We understand and share her desire to see the immediate release of children from detention and reunion with their parents. We hope that her legal representation will arrange for her release under her own recognizance. Now, I'm not sure what that says to you, but to me, that says, hey, we didn't do it. It was her. So when the feds come knocking, don't knock on our door. As what, Rise and Resist, knock on her door. Patrice Okoumou, the African, yeah, she did that. And this is what they do. This is what the liberals do. They'll use black people for whatever they want to use them for. And then whenever they get in trouble, they say, oh, nah, well, we didn't do it. She did it. Throw you under the bus, act like you're nothing. They'll discard you like you're garbage. And that's part of the reason why I walked away, which is a whole different story. And I'll put my walk away and red pill moment videos in the box if you want to check them out. But yeah, this was crazy. Patrice, I mean, I don't know what's going on with you. I don't know why you thought that it would be a good thing to get on top of the actual base of the statue. I think that they probably put her up to it because they said human banner. What is a human banner? To me, a human banner would be what she did, to get on there with her Rise and Resist shirt, because she was showing it off to the camera. If I can find footage of her doing that, I'll put that in the box. But she did do that. So to me, that's a human banner. Maybe she didn't understand what they wanted. Maybe they said, okay, go on top of the base, which meant like at the foot of the base, climb some steps to get to the foot. But she went all the way to the top. I don't know how she got up there because the police were out there with ropes. I don't know how she got up there, but she did. Like I said, I wanted to see a show. Climb the statue, go all the way to the torch, go to the top, do a little bit of, skydiving, get a wingsuit, get some air, and, fly over the Hudson. That's what I want to see. But maybe that's just me. What are your thoughts? Do you think that this person was used to push the liberal narrative of, everybody's legal, nobody's illegal, this, that, and the third? Yes, people can be illegal. If you're here illegally, then you're here illegally. It's just like if you go in somebody's house without their permission, you're there illegally. They got the right to shoot you and kill you in your house. In a lot of states, in most states that are pretty sane about the whole situation, it's called castle doctrine. It's called stand your ground, or whatever it is in your particular place of residence. But this was really crazy. This is how far fake news goes, because the whole thing about child separation is not even really a big deal. These kids get put in Club Med for a little while, and the only reason why they're there is because they can't get detained with their parents. They got to get put somewhere until they can get deported altogether. And if you really are seeking asylum, there are points of entry at the southern border you can use. You don't have to just sneak through illegally, get caught, and then be like, oh, okay, I'm a refugee, I want to seek asylum from Honduras or wherever other backwater place I come from. Nah, you can do it legally and you might just be granted. So don't give me this side story. I'm not really trying to hear it. It seems like every time I see something about this, it's a fake story. It's somebody doing something stupid. Where is the logic? Where is the actual sound reasoning? All of this, I don't really see it. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I gotta say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.